Come in, all of you, and greet this glorious, beautiful, chilly day together. This glorious, beautiful, unique day that is unlike any other. A day that is a gift given to all of us. Welcome. Welcome here. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Shelter Rock. I am the Reverend Israel Buffardi. I am one of the ministers of this congregation, honored to serve with a team of my colleagues, the Reverend David Carl Olson, our student minister Madison Colquette, and our lead minister, the Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore. Welcome to this Unitarian Universalist congregation. Whether you've been part of this congregation for decades or whether you are joining us here for the very first time, I'm so glad to see all of you here this morning. So glad to be in community with all of you. For all of you who are here, your presence enriches this sacred space, this community that we share together. And we welcome you just as you are, wherever you are on life's journey, wherever you come from, whoever you love. Today's service is a celebration of what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist and the ways that our denomination inspires us to action, to spiritual growth, and to transformation, to change and grow as the world asks us to, demands we do. Today we're going to hear from members of our Denominational Affairs Committee, which is the group here in this congregation that connects us to the core of what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist, what the work is of being a Unitarian Universalist. We'll hear from these people who will share their experiences of their Unitarian Universalist faith, how it supports them, how it supports all of us on our journeys, and how it calls us together to embody and make real in the world those things we care so deeply about, those things we know that the world needs: justice, equity, compassion, love. In this time of change, in this moment of possibility, in this moment of uncertainty, let us remember what it means to come together and why it is so important, and why we must bring our whole hearts and minds together to create something, to ensure something stronger, more enduring, and deeply, deeply rooted in love. If you are a newcomer to this congregation and this is your first time coming here, I want to invite you to join us for lunch, to be our guest today, to visit the welcome desk and see one of our greeters and fill out a welcome card and let us know who you are. Let us know why you came here. Come talk to me after the service. Maybe pick up a copy of our Quest newsletter, or join us next week for our You Belong Here class series, our membership class series, where we talk about what it means to be a member of this congregation, what the transformative power is of being a UU in community. I'd like to draw your attention to a few more things to invite you all in, whether you're new or not, whether you are new or have been coming here for a long time, to some of the things that are happening in this community. Today at 1 p.m. in the art gallery, we have an artist reception. And I also have one other thing, which is we have a group here who are actively working to support, to make connections with folks who have immigrated to this country, who are wanting to become citizens, who are wanting to make more connections in the community and to know and understand and feel that they have people here. So we have a group of members in this congregation who have committed to partner with these people, these immigrants, and to get to know them and to get to know each other and support each other in the process of getting to know one another. We're looking for more people to volunteer to do that. And if you're interested, if you would like to be a part of this amazing effort, I ask that you contact Sonia Aurora, our social justice coordinator. You can also speak with our member Paul Arfin, who is helping to coordinate this effort as well. Know and understand what it means to be a part of community, to show up for the people who are in your community. This is such a powerful thing. And we especially would welcome anyone who speaks Spanish to come and join that effort, because we could use some people who have those language skills as well. And now, Barry Noble. Is he here? Right, there you are. Barry Noble has another invitation that he would like to issue to the congregation.
Thank you, Reverend Israel. Good morning. My name is Barry Noble. I'm a member of the Denominational Affairs Committee and the Veach Board of Governors. There's a whole world of Unitarian Universalism outside our congregation. The General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association gives members of UUCSR the opportunity to explore our vast realm. The Veach program uses our resources to spread UU values all over the country. Find out about Veach. I'm here to invite you all to join the Veach governors and staff on Veach Sunday, January 26th. Veach Sunday is a wonderful opportunity to meet grantees of our national funding program. This year, the Veach Board of Governors is thrilled to welcome Marisa Tirona, a nationally recognized leader in justice, inclusion, and solidarity, whose work as president of Grantmakers Concerned with Immigrants and Refugees inspires hope and action during these critical times. She will speak from the pulpit about how philanthropic programs and grassroots organizations are standing together to protect the rights of immigrants and refugees in our shared humanity. Then, after lunch, starting at 1, the Veach annual meeting will feature interactive roundtable conversation with Marisa Tirona and other grantee leaders on issues including immigration, climate justice, and social justice efforts. Here on Long Island, you will have the opportunity to have small group conversations with Veach grantees about some of the most important social issues of our time, and hear about their powerful work to put faith into action. The Veach Board of Governors and staff hope you will join us on January 26th for this beloved tradition to learn, connect, and explore how we can continue putting forth our faith into action. Questions? Contact Veach Program Director Eileen Jameson at eileen@veach.org, or speak to me or one of the other governors. Thank you.
If anyone in this room shares care and concern for the state of our world, show up. There are many ways, many conversations happening in this congregation, many efforts that we are leading and supporting and coordinating to change our world for the better. And now let us light our chalice to begin our service. We light this chalice as a beacon for our shared journey, a light to guide us in times of uncertainty, a flame to ignite our courage as we meet the challenges of today, and a spark to inspire love and justice in a world that so deeply needs all of them, all of us. So as we begin our time together this morning, I ask you to reflect, to ask yourself what it means to meet this moment in time in the world. In times of change and uncertainty, it can be tempting, I think, to turn inward, to feel overwhelmed by the emotions of this work that we turn to. Unitarian Universalism is a faith, a movement that has asked its members over and over again to turn, to move, to change towards what the world requires us of. We live in a world, in a society that wants to divide us constantly, that wants us to feel alone, that wants to separate us, that wants us not to know the strength that we have inherently in each of us, the strength that we have by coming together. The forces that would turn our world to places that we would not like to see it to go. Those forces thrive by dividing us. And so we come together to remind ourselves that there is power in community. Our faith reminds us that we are not alone, that we are called to face the challenges of the world together. And our faith reminds us that we must do more than just come together, but we must come up with a plan, and we must act on that plan. And we must gather the resources and the strength that we need to move where we need to. And it calls us to seek wisdom and care for one another in the small interactions that we have in our everyday. It's not just grand plans, it's how we treat each other when we are in community with each other. So as we gather in this sacred space today, may we open our hearts to the power of community and the possibility of transformation. May this hour strengthen for us the work ahead and remind us of the beauty of shared purpose. We remember the words of the Reverend Dr. William F. Schultz, who said, "Let us be reminded that the work of religion, of faith, is to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable." Religion reminds us, this faith reminds us of what is permanent in an age of transience and what is timeless in an era of trends. But it also calls us to adapt, to risk, to rise, and to meet the challenges of each day with imagination, courage, and love. That is what we are doing together, cultivating our courage, our imagination, and strengthening the love that we have together. Will you rise in body or in spirit now to sing with me our opening hymn, "Gather the Spirit," and let us gather that courage and that love together.
Amen. seated. Whoop. Me bad. Would you please stand? I'm kind of new at this. And recite with me our words of affirmation, and please remain standing for our song of affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, this do we affirm and covenant with each other. Please be seated. Good morning. I'm Richard Bach, and I'm chair of the Denominational Affairs Committee, and we are very eager to celebrate General Assembly in Baltimore this coming June with thousands of fellow Unitarian Universalists. Today, I draw your attention to our offering. Every Sunday, we as a congregation take a special collection to support nonprofit groups that serve human need. This month's offering will provide support to CARISAN, the Central American Refugee Center. CARISAN advocates for just, equitable laws and policies that protect and empower immigrants and reflect the value they add to our communities across Long Island, New York, and the entire country. There are several ways to give. There is a QR code in your morning's order of service. There is a donation box in the lobby. There are ways online at UUCSR.org, PayPal, or perhaps a check that you may send to the finance office. We appreciate your generosity, and I thank you.
I invite you all now to take a moment, to take a breath together. To allow yourself to settle into the seat where you are, into the place where you are, into the room, into this community. When we try to turn our attention to what is important, to meditate, or what some call prayer, what some call simply being present to life, we may have a tendency to feel like we need to do this just the right way, to know just the right words. But I tell you today, I remind you today, that being present to your own life, to this world, to the beauty of this world, and yes, its pain, requires no more than being here with each other and noticing. Noticing what is on your heart. Not pushing away those things that are on your heart, but allowing them to fill you. Allowing them to let your heart break if it needs to. Allowing them to remind you that you are alive on this day. That no matter how much time you have left, you are alive. And you have the opportunity to make a connection with someone, to show the people you care about how much you love them, to experience, to receive the love that is given to you, to experience, to receive the beauty that this world offers to you, and to notice where it is broken, to notice where repair is needed, to notice where attention is needed. So when we center ourselves, when we pray, when we meditate, let us be fully present to all that life brings. For we know that on any given day there are so many complex joys and sorrows and complex, unexplainable truths present in this room, or any. We know that on this day, many woke up to sunshine, to nature's beauty, and there are places in our country where people are waking up to smoke and fire and destruction. There are places in the world where people have been waking up to destruction and violence. We are reminded on daily that the forces of nature can reclaim what humans have built. We are reminded daily that the forces of selfishness are able to reclaim, able to tear down what love has built up. And we are reminded that love can build it up again. And so as you are here together in the room with these people, each individual people with love on their hearts, with a desire to be loved and experience life and love and beauty just as all of us, we are reminded that to meet the moment of what the world requires of us requires that we first meet and notice and turn our attention to the love and the sorrow in our hearts. And to open our eyes to go out and meet the people that we are with and share what our concerns are for each other and for the world, and to know that we are not alone. Ultimately know that we are not alone. If you carry a joy or a sorrow or a complex truth on your heart on this day that needs to be marked in some way, now is the time that you are invited to come up and to light a candle. To light a candle for the light that you hold, the light that needs to be kindled in our lives. To light a candle for what is in process, what is being formed. To light a candle for the things that light up your life. Or just to light a candle. To have a moment, to have something be present to you that reminds you that you are alive. And to do it with others and know, again, that you are not alone.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Zellman, and I'm sorry? It's all good. Please do an anthem for me.
I'm not the only one. Yes, it is. Yeah. You are the new day. New day. A new day. I will love you more than me and more than yesterday. If you cannot prove to me you are the new day, send a song in time for dawn. Let the birds all hail the morning. Love of my village, we say, you are the new day. When I lay me down at night, knowing we must pay, altogether that it's night, but say yesterday. Thoughts that we as humans small could small worlds and then in all lie around me where they fall before the new day. One more day when time is running out for everyone. Like a breath I knew would come, I reach for a new day. Hope is my philosophy, just needs days in which to be. Love of life means hope for me, born on a new day. You are the new day.
Wasn't that better? Okay. Good morning. My name is Kathy Zillman. I am a person who has been to General Assembly a number of times, certainly over the last 15 years. I've probably been there 10 times. And it is so exciting to be with thousands of other Unitarian Universalists from across the country and across the world. And for me, the most exciting thing has been seeing what's new on people's minds. You know, you don't always hear what's new at home with the same old people. It's just very exciting. So since last year, I've been getting used to the proposed changes to Article 2 of the UUA bylaws. As I understand it, Article 2 is where we define who we are as an organization and define what unites us. Imagine in the rules for a religion, it states that we're supposed to review this every 15 years. I'm trying to imagine the faith where I grew up reviewing their beliefs every 15 years. In fact, Article 2 had not been revised for 40 years. About the time that I was lucky enough to find UU. So the principles and purposes felt absolutely right for me. My first reaction a year ago when I heard that of the proposed changes, I couldn't see why we needed them because the principles were so good and so meaningful to me. They seemed to progress logically from the worth and dignity of every person to the worth and dignity of everything, the web of life of which we are a part. With these principles, we have been an active denomination working for justice. Then I realized that maybe the 7 principles weren't as perfect for everyone as they seemed to me. After all, not so long ago, we passed the 8th principle because people involved in the more involved in anti-racism work than I thought that we needed to state more strongly that we want to create a diverse and multicultural beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantles racism and other oppressions. So as a delegate to General Assembly in 2023, I decided that I would support the changes being proposed because they were being proposed by visionaries who would be leading the denomination into the future. I thought it was a little weird to replace the principles with a flower, but I would support it because it was the new generation's view of our future. I was a delegate again in 2024, and I heard people grumbling that everything changes. The Article 2 Study Commission were articulating UUism differently. People have been upset about getting away from the principles and purposes. Well, they were never supposed to be creed, were they? They're not being thrown out. They're part of our history and our canon, as someone at GA stated. The Ministers Association Board of Trustees voted to approve the changes, and who would I be to say that I knew better? I took a lot of notes at General Assembly, and I could keep on writing. I've started to understand where the changes came from. I bet it started with someone in the 15-year review saying, love is at the center. And I think it's important that we no longer define ourselves by our belief history, but by our aspirations, which we see up here. Ours is a living faith. We change, we adapt, we move. And think how this new definition will change our elevator speeches, which is another talk altogether. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rick Schwartz. I've been a member of UUCSR for 39 years. I am currently serving my 3rd year as a Veach Board Governor. I'm a member of the Social Justice Committee, Racial Justice Committee, and Denominational Affairs Committee. I am here today as a DAC member. I'm a 75-year-old. My pronouns are he, him. I have graying blonde hair and a receding hairline. I wear eyeglasses with a clear plastic frame and hearing aids. I'm wearing a blue plaid shirt and blue pants. This type of descriptive paragraph is used by every speaker at GA for the benefit of those attending in person or virtually with visual difficulties, and is transcribed into print for those with hearing deficits, as well as a person signing. The ability to have a mixed in-person and virtual General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association has made it possible for many Unitarian Universalists to participate that might not otherwise have been able to do. I have attended several General Assemblies, both virtual and in person. My first in person was June of 2022, General Assembly in Portland, Oregon, as a delegate from our congregation. I listened intently to the 3-day presentation by the Article 2 Commission. As Kathy mentioned, every 15 years the UUA is supposed to review and rethink and revise Article 2 of our bylaws, which states what Unitarian Universalism stands for as a living faith as a charge since the inception of the UUA. Some changes have occurred, especially in changing sexist statements, but there has not been a major review in the past 40 years. Reverend William Sinkford, one of our past UUA presidents, related that answers that served us yesterday have to be tested against the needs of a new day. UUs are compelled to sort out what is permanent and what is passing. This is our faith. I had the opportunity to speak at length at this convention with Dr. Robert Spirko, co-chairperson of the Article 2 Commission at GA. And in September, I was asked to serve as one of the co-facilitators that spoke with UUs from all over the country. During this process, I became more aware of how difficult it was for many people to accept any changes to our principles. This caused me to learn and understand more of our UU history. So what were people so upset about? Some related they did not trust the UUA and actually talked about an us and them situation. Many more felt that the main question that people had was, what does being accountable mean? There were concerns regarding whether the UUA would set up an 8th principle police force to make sure we were following the principle. The UUA's answer was that it would be based on our side with love principles. It is up to every UU to work towards a beloved community. It is expected that we will take on the responsibility of educating ourselves and understand that the implementation will be fraught with mistakes and uncomfortable moments as we grow individually. The Denominational Affairs Committee reviewed the Article 2 proposal and possible amendments that were to be voted on at the June 24 GA. We then presented to this UUCSR's Board of Trustees. I was able to contact the authors of the 4 proposed amendments and increased my interest and knowledge of the process during GA. I was able to speak for the amendment that we supported on equity. Over time, I noted there were several misconceptions. The first is that the bylaws of the UUA relate to how member congregations relate to one another. It was never meant as a personal, individual code for how UUs related to each other. The second was that if the values of the new Article 2 were passed, our 7 principles and 6 sources would be lost. The UUA's answer is that individual UUs and their congregations are welcome to continue to hold and value the 7 principles and 6 sources, which were adopted in 1984 as a meaningful part of the faith, just as some have adopted the 8th principle on their own. I hope that my sharing this experience with you might move some of you to become involved both here at UUCSR and as a member of the UUA as future delegates to UUA's General Assembly. More information about the shared UU values was presented in this fall's UU World magazine, which we all received as members of this congregation. So there's a great article on the changes to our principles. Thank you.
Good morning. It is wonderful to be among you today. My name is Latifa Woodhouse. My family and I have been members of this congregation for 20 years, 28 years. So I forgot that. As Rick described himself the way we do, I have served on the UUA board. I'm a former chair of the DAC committee, Denominational Affairs Committee, and I am presently a member of the Denominational Affairs Committee. So our General Assembly is the Unitarian Universalist Association General Assembly is very close to my heart. I have been to 27 General Assembly, mostly with my husband and our children, different children at different times. We have 5 members of our family. General Assembly has been a cornerstone of my family Unitarian Universalist journey. Over the years, attending GA or General Assembly has deepened my faith and shown me incredible potential to what we can accomplish together as Unitarian Universalists. Today, I want to share some personal moments that remind me why General Assembly is such a transformative experience and why I encourage all of you to consider attending. One of the most memorable moments for me was at 2001 General Assembly in Cleveland, Ohio. During that assembly, delegates were considering an action of immediate witness, AIW, to support Afghanistan during a humanitarian crisis. My daughter, Jessica Woodhouse, stood before thousands of delegates and delivered an emotional appeal, urging them to take action. Her words, grounded in the Unitarian Universalist principles of justice and compassion, inspired the room. Because of her advocacy, the AIW, Action of Immediate Witness, passed. Watching her speak was a profound moment, reminding me of the power of one voice to move a community toward justice. General Assembly is also where young people find their voices and discover their potential as leaders. At the 2010 General Assembly in Minneapolis, Minnesota, my youngest daughter, Alexandra Woodhouse, shared the story of her grandparents, refugees fleeing the Russian war in Afghanistan, during a presentation advocating for immigration justice. She spoke with such passion and authenticity, reminding everyone of the struggles and resilience of refugees seeking a better life. Her story touched hearts and inspired the delegates to adopt another action of immediate witness. These moments, Jessica's advocacy and Alexander's storytelling, are why I believe so strongly in General Assembly. It's a place where our values come alive, where leaders are shaped, and where we are called to grow as individuals and as a faith. This year, General Assembly will be held in Baltimore, Maryland, from June 18th to June 22nd, with both in-person and virtual options where you are a new General Assembly attendees or you have attended General Assembly before. I encourage you to join. It's an experience that will deepen your connection to Unitarian Universalism, renew your spirit, and inspire you to take action. So please, I'm asking all of you the applications are on the table. Our wonderful chair, Richard Bach, is the chair who will give you all kinds of information if you need about the GA, our General Assembly, and Baltimore, Maryland. Please show your interest. That's where you meet thousands and thousands of Unitarian Universalists, and you see that everything happens in action. Thank you.
So won't you consider going to GA, attending GA, virtually or in person, to be reminded of that most important task of what it means to be in religious community, which is knowing that the world that we dream about, the world that we care about, is something that we do have the capacity to work towards, something that you do have the capacity to work towards, but you cannot do it in isolation, you cannot do it alone, that we desperately need each other to remind each other of our commitments, to remind ourselves that we must put love at the center of all we do, from our personal interactions to the large-scale ones that happen out in the world. So will you rise in body or in spirit with me to sing our closing hymn? Love will guide us. My friends, as you go from here, know that love must guide everything that you do, everything that we do. And when you go out into the world and you notice how messed up it is, and how much there is that needs to be recentered again and again in love, may you know that there are others just like you who care deeply, deeply from the bottom of their hearts and souls. And may you know that you have a place to come to be with those people, and to ask again and again and again, over and over, what needs to be done, and to figure out how to do it. Go in peace.